All right, young man. Let's see.
You know, sometimes I feel relatively young because there's so much still to learn in the world and see. The internet has opened the world up for everybody. Rick wanted to see you.
Already saw it.
Yeah, about the camps?
Yeah.
Okay, alrighty.
Good game.
Well, a win is always a good thing. If you win in a town, it's always a good time.
You was talking about, it's always a good day, feeling young, being around these young guys. It's a lot of years in.
Yeah, I've always thought of myself 100%. Actually, when I got into education, after I got a Pro Bowl, my real thinking was the idea, I'm going to go back and be a teacher, and if they want me to coach some, I will. I've always thought of myself as a teacher. I'll probably continue to do some teaching of some kind. I've got something you wouldn't even believe. I'll show you. I think I got it right now. It doesn't matter now, but I was always covering myself as far as a job and as far as retirement, things like that. I wanted to make sure that I did not have a secure retirement. Read what this Texas certificate says down there at the bottom.
See, teacher certificate, fulfill the requirements of state law and the regulations of the State Board of Education to authorize employees to use as designated below. Lifetime certificates for, let's see, you got high school health, physical ed,
Look at the next one.
professional administrator. So is that
yeah.
It says you can be anything in public education.
high school driver's education?
That was an experience. Have you ever? I better not be careful about that. I've had people on the freeway. On the freeway, take this exit right and turn into the next lane right in front of the car. I've had that happen. No, that means that. I mean, it's a little late to start back into public education, but that means I one time covered my butt and had all-level education administration. It's still lifetime.
PET, health and physical educator, administrator.
History. I got
history.
I taught history I taught history 4 classes a day for 9 years. 4 classes a day for 9 years.
How do you get a lifetime on it? Did you meet?
There was a program they had. You can't do it anymore. You have to go to school forever. I got in on the last year you could get on that 1966 plan. I got in on it, and it allowed you, if you took the right hours, to get the lifetime certificate. When I got it, I never used it.
You got that in '77.
When I went to Spring Branch, I didn't know I'd ever get a college job. And the second, they knew about all these credentials. And the second month I was there, they came in and said, listen, we need a grade level principal, 10th grade at Springwoods. We'll give you a 4-room suite and a second and a raise. I said, I think I want to do it. Turned out all right.
My paper says you'll always have a job.
Well, I don't,
in terms of if you want.
Yeah, well, but the point is, there's 2 things I've enjoyed most, and I've never really got away from them. Teaching means human growth and development. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to help people grow. And winning is the evidence of how well you've taught. So that's teaching and winning. Human growth and development and winning. That's the way I look at it.
So as a teacher, if you had to give yourself a grade then, give yourself an A?
I've got a long file of people say that I helped them. Now, I'm sure there's some that think I should have got to the big leagues and they didn't think I helped them enough. Everybody thinks I ought to get the big leagues. Well, you have to think you ought to get the big leagues or you never get there. I understand, I did too. I got 2 cups of coffee. Not so much. But, it's better not being in the book, I guess. I had a friend in Southern Hattiesburg recently died. Mickey Herring was his name. He pinch run once in the big leagues. That's all he was ever there, but he's in the book. And he was a good player,
But he's there.
yeah, he's a great basketball player. So, yeah. But anyway, I'm filling y'all with information you don't need.
Well, I did. This is helping me out with my part of my story, because I go back with you as far as Scarborough, then moving over to San Jack, and then coming here. Just because I'm an HID kid.
So am I.
And most people don't know that you've got a real long history and a connection with the city.
I went to Sherman Elementary.
Oh.
You know where that is?
Yes, sir.
And it was not, you know, there were no guns, but it was considered to be mean streets.
Yes, sir.
Because I can still remember the old Northside Theater was at the corner of Fulton and Old Ray. 9 cents, you could go to a double feature and a cereal and a game on the stage and everything. And if you had a watch on me from that theater at night home, you would have saw a world record set. I know that there were 10 yards where my feet never hit the ground. I mean, I was flying. If anybody got in my way, they'd have got killed. I was going to get there. Barefooted too. We used to be barefooted all summer. Yeah.
Your time at Scarborough, it pretty much set the stage for you heading over to San Jack, and your time at San Jack set the stage for you coming here to Rice. It was about, as you mentioned earlier, about teaching the game the right way, by guys getting in and getting focused and becoming focused on where they were headed and what they needed to do to get there.
Yeah, at Scarborough, you know, we were not supposed to be playing at the level we were playing. We were too small. But the reason we played at the higher level was because HISD didn't want us to have to travel, to spend money on travel. So with a very low enrollment, so we had to do a lot of things right. We caught it and threw it straight. We rarely ever made over an error in a game, ever. And our pitchers threw strikes. So, and it helped me get the San Jack job when I moved to Spring Branch for 1 year, and we beat Roger Clemens for the district title. So Spring Woods had been winning over there. And when we beat that, it kind of filled out a resume where I had all the credentials also. I had all the, like you see, those credentials you see. Although some of those were earned later. But, you know, you gotta have a master's degree to be the coach at Scarborough. I mean at San Jack. It's weird, isn't it? That you gotta have a master's to teach JUCO, and you have to
Have just a bachelor's stuff.
yeah. But it's great. I mean, I've loved the teaching side of it, and the idea that you might be helping somebody on the right path.
I remember one year we went on Omaha, and it was you, myself, and a couple of Chronicle reporters around, and you mentioned about how you and Joe Tusa pretty much came through HISD around the same time. And
he was at, yeah, I think he was practice coaching at Reagan, and I was playing football. I mean, when my junior year I played football. He was at Reagan, and then he evolved into an administrator, and then I knew him when I was in high school, and then he hired me when I got out of college. Hired me at Scarborough.
talking about bring this all together, being here at Rice, this last homestand, looking at the trophies on the wall. Is it the trophies or the guys that the kids that you've worked with over the time that has brought most of your joy?
I think both. You know, obviously, the record matters. I don't worry about being honored and all that stuff. I worry about, you know, the coaching and the teaching, and the record matters to me. The consistency of the record matters to me. I hate it that we've dropped off a little lately, but it's pretty tough to recruit when you're not at a P5 school and you've got such tight academic restrictions. But it still can be done. We've still got good players out there. What has killed us this year is the injuries, and 8 injuries. Most of them are back now. I'd like to play some more because we got most of our team back.
Well, as you mentioned when you walked in, you're still in the hunt this weekend. Today was a good day all the way around.
We really needed to win today. Got a little disturbed when they got a couple in the ninth. I got a little disturbed when we weren't cashing in on their lower bullpen. But that last guy they come in there he threw some sliders from Hades, man. I mean, he threw 84, 85-mile sliders. That's a big league slider.
He's at a 138 ERA.
Why ain't he been pitching more, or has he? What's his name?
Sylvester Toe. The last two guys that they threw, Davis and Toe.
Well, look at that stuff. His problem, of course, has been walks. He's had 10 walks from third innings. But he's also had 15 strikeouts and only 9 hits on. He's 90 to 94. And they say his slider's 77 to 81, but I saw an 84 up there. He was nasty. I hope they used him up. I don't want to see him again. Gee whiz. That's tough. He may show up next year. I don't know what level he's at, grade-wise, but he may show up next year as a stud. Sophomore.
Yeah.
Douglasville, Georgia. Says he's 6'3", 230.
That's a big boy.
That's big. That's real big.
Wayne, I'm here for something different. I know you've got 2 games left in this series, but you got U of H on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And when you look at that rivalry, I went during the game here. I was looking at some of the games. Y'all had some really good games.
Yeah.
The 2003 year that you win the national championship, you have to come back and beat them.
Oh man, do you really realize how close that was? They had a good lefty, Zell, that beat us the first game. They had a first-round pick, Sullivan, to pitch the second game, and they had that crazy reliever that went to the big leagues. I didn't think his name. He was good. And another left-hander named Henderson that pitched a lot of pro ball. We were behind the 8 ball, and if they'd have beat us, they might have won the national championship. They were that good. Really good.
And then you've had different games. I know the Rendon game where y'all won 24-3. A couple of years ago, y'all won that 20-inning game. When you look at me, that's sort of your alma mater. You ever think about it? That you went to school
I
there.
got my master there.
You've had some ties to.
I loved the part of my education at University of Houston. I loved it. I thought the professors were really good. Because for my degree, physical education, you also had to, because I wanted a professional certificate too, so I had to take 6 hours of history, and I had to take 9 hours in the ed psych department, or education department, separate. And boy, those 9 hours in the education department were really good education. One of them was statistics and a couple other good ones. Ed psych was one. No, I thought Houston, I loved going to school there.
They probably, the fans won't say it's mutual because you've done pretty well in that series over the years. I don't think that trophy ever left that corner of that bookcase for you in the Silver Glove for many years in a row. Yeah. But I mean, it's always been a really good series for you guys.
Oh, they're good. They have good talent. Always got good talent. It was when I was at San Jac, it was where I wanted to go coach. When I was at San Jac, I never got the opportunity.
At Houston?
Yeah. I applied twice at Houston.
Did you ever get an interview?
Yeah, one. Second time I think I did. Yeah.
And as fate would have it, I mean, at that same time, were you even thinking Rice? Did you ever think you had when you were hoping to get at Houston? Did you ever think that the other school across town would ever be the fit?
Yeah, I wanted Rice too. I mean, obviously, I grew up with a very intense respect for Rice. My family, being in Houston, thought Rice was Shangri-La. And I did too. I mean, what they stood for, and I thought it was great. And I didn't know whether they would listen to me, but what helped me get the job here is I sent 13 kids from San Jac here in 11 years. 13. And also, I had a lot of friends that I played handball down at the Y with that were connected with Rice. Judge Frank Price and the head of our association, several people, John Walden. So they wrote nice letters for me, and the kids that played for me at San Jac went in, and despite, I don't think, Rice was necessarily looking for a junior college coach, but it worked.
Not just the red and white, but you get that job over there, things could have been a lot different. You never know the path your lives will take.
Now there's forks in the road, and best fork I ever took in the road was marrying that little lady.
Yeah, that was in what year was it? That was
We've been,
8?
in June the 8th, we will be married 35 years.
Really? 35 years?
83.
Wow.
35 years.
Because you had been at San Jac how long at that point?
2 years.
2 years?
I was there 81. Clements. He's
But no, the kind of tie anything, and what I'm doing is just the history of Houston and you guys. Other than that year that you guys went to in 2003, is there any other things that stick out about that? Whether it's crossing paths with Rayner or Todd or any of those guys, or
Rayner was a great competitor. He's a great high school and college athlete. He's a great player at University of Houston. I always admired him. And that was a great rivalry. They played good baseball. They made us better. Playing them a lot made us better. No question about that. Glad to see them get a nice facility and they keep building on it. They got a tough series this weekend, though.
yeah, they just swept UConn tonight. They just clinched the conference.
They played doubleheader.
Yeah, because it's supposed to rain in Hartford tomorrow, so
How about they won 2.
6-5 and 10-1.
Wow.
That first baseman finally came around, had 2 homers tonight.
Joe Davis can hit.
They've got a kid that will replace him. He's a freshman. Last name Brown. He's about 6'4" and 250.
He's huge.
Yeah.
But still got to hit.
Yeah. He's either makes contact and it goes a mile or strikes out. Usually strikes out. So.
Yeah, it's hitting tough.
Wayne, what did you think of, you've had all these schools that you've had some connection to, whether former bosses or friends are at those schools or just your history with, what did you think about what's the gesture Sam Houston did the other night when you went over there? I think
Well, that was partly because Bobby Williams' father, when he was at Rice, played summer ball on my dad's baseball team. And I knew him well. I knew Bobby Sr. really well. And I've always really liked Bobby Jr. And Bobby has a great respect for athletic achievement. I thought it was a great gesture.
Was it like a little owl?
No, it's Sam Houston.
No.
It's a small statue of the head of Sam Houston.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and with a statement on it. Nice, really nice. Bobby has got a place up on Lake Conroe too.
Right.
Not in the same neighborhood I do, but it's.
I saw him at Sugarland last week, and I didn't even recognize him because he's always clean cut, but I'm not used to seeing him with the full.
I had this one full grown. Now I'm growing it back.
Right.
I just the secret of when you're older, it covers up wrinkles.
Yeah.
That is true, Coach. It does cover up a lot of things.
When if Houston, because of what you have meant to college baseball and just them in general, the rivalry, if Houston did something similar like that, would that be the kind of gesture like Sam Houston in terms of?
What about me?
No, just in terms of if they decided Tuesday night that they were going to honor you or something like that, is that something that would that mean as much to you, or would it mean something to you that one of your biggest rivals?
That would be respectful, and of course you always. One of the reasons you work so hard and come out of the old north side where I came from is respect. You know, you want to get the education and work hard at a job. I've had a job since I was 12 years old. I don't know what I'm going to do not having a job. I guess I'll find something to keep me busy. But I was working, remember wine gardens?
Yes, sir.
I was sacking groceries at wine gardens when I was 12 years old.
That's
Yeah.
your first job?
There's one over on, I think it was on Lyons Avenue.
Yeah.
Wine gardens was on Lyons Avenue.
Lions and right across the tracks. In
That's
Denver
where I
Harbor.
sacked groceries.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
My mother got me a job over there, and I didn't get to keep any of the money I made all the years sacking groceries and carrying out groceries because I had to use it to buy tennis shoes and blue jeans. I bought my tennis shoes and blue jeans and helped the family out in that way. But I was in the north side on McKee Street until 8 weeks into Davis. I moved. They found us a house over in Reagan District because they heard I was a stud baseball player.
He was doing it back then.
Well, it wasn't really like that. Nesbitt, Pinky Nesbitt played here at Rice. His father was a chiropractor in Rice.
Oh.
And he was building a home and moving out of his house on Harvard. And we paid full rent. They just said, hey, there's a place over here. It's better than what you're living in. The rent's reasonable. We moved. Because also, my dad was an elder in the Church of Christ, and it was half a block away. The Heights Church of Christ. So that's another fork in the road. That was a big fork in the road, Reagan.
Yeah.
Davis was, actually we would have had a great team in Davis. It turned out they had some players. One more would have made a huge difference. They had two pitchers that pitched for University of Houston.
Wait, just to make sure, the years that the last time that you applied at Houston, you were, both times you were at San Jack, right? You were.
No, I applied out of high school. When Roland Walton took the job, I had been named, oddly enough, my first year, second year at Scarborough, I think it was, I was named HISD Coach of the Year. So I said, shit, I'll apply for the job. But Roland took it. I did, right? I still got the application I wrote, the application letter, I still got it home. And oddly enough, Roland, a lot of the things I suggested they should do, Roland did it. I said, first of all, they should start charging for game. I said, they weren't charging for game. And I said, secondly, you recruit right-hand hitters, power hitters at University of Houston. Because the wind blows left field. And he did those things.
Right. But the second time you were already, it was years
At St.
later.
Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, by then you had probably
Greg
won a
Stockton.
national championship.
Greg Stockton got it. He was at TCU. He had been an assistant at Houston. He left TCU to come back to Houston.
Interesting. I never. So you still have that application?
Well, the application letter.
No, that's.
Yeah, I still got it. And upstairs, I saw it the other day, in fact. It was written on an old typewriter.
Well, one day I want to see you write the lineup that you do, the lineup you do and the handwriting you do. That's I've always been amazed at that. That's.
You don't know where that
thing
came
about
from. Do you know where that came from?
Well, the story, I guess you said that you did something younger. It was calligraphy, but didn't you have? Was it a job or?
Yeah, I had engineering drawing in Texas. I was in engineering school for 2 years, and I needed a job in pro ball. Man, we didn't have any money. I had kids. So the first thing I did was go to highway department, and I worked there for 2 years as a draftsman. But Texas Instruments was letting all their people work 56 hours a week. They were getting 16 hours of overtime a week, and they had us apply, and they said, yeah, we'll put you in a 6-week school. And you were doing your drawings, had to be almost engraved into the drawing paper, and it had to be perfect lettering, because they had to print it over and over and over, what they call blue line then, not blueprint. And that was the way I learned that part of the school was developing impeccable lettering, engraved in the, you had to is the thing that fed me for 3 years. Fed my family for 3
Sully
years.
showed me a few. They're really nice.
Fed my family for 3 years. Like I say, I've been working a long time. You know, I'm not complaining. I learned a lot, met a lot of people. I would, though, when I went back to school, I had been working at Gulf Interstate downtown because they were working 68-hour weeks. So you're getting 28 hours of overtime a week. And I worked a year there to save the money to go back and get my degree because I knew if I had to bend over that board the rest of my life, I was making good money. But if I had to bend over that board the rest of my life, I wouldn't live very long. The old draftsman bending over that board all day long didn't live long.
Was there any reason to go back to Houston to get that was for the Masters? Or did you just, was that part of the...
Oh, once I got back teaching in HSD, I just wanted to
add the...
open up the upper mobility.
Expands the pay.
Yeah, yeah.
Nowadays, if you don't get a master's degree and you're in... like my wife works at Chevron and then she worked at BHP and she only has a bachelor's, but if you have a master's, it takes you to a whole nother level.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Still matters.
Yeah.
Like I say, though, I really did enjoy going to school to do a thesis. I did. I didn't do a thesis. I did. You could take 36 hours and do what they call a comprehensive exam at the end. That's what I did for my master's at Houston. So I wound up with 241 credit hours.
Combined the whole way through.
It's a lot of hours, Coach. It's a lot of hours.
That's a lot of sitting on your hiney.
Because nowadays it's what 120 for a bachelor's and then.
Well, I lost a bunch of hours at Texas when I went back. So my original degree at Texas, I had 157 hours when I graduated. Then I went to a master's, so you can tabulate that, 36 more. Then I got the job at San Jac, and then I wanted the administrative certificate. That took 24 more. Then I get to San Jac, and I thought I wouldn't have to do any more. They said, no, you got to take 24 more while you're here. So it tabulated to 241.
You took them at San Jac?
I took let's see now, how did that work? I took the 24 edition, last 24 at San Jac. No, I didn't take them at San Jac, I took them at University of Houston.
Right.
Yeah.
You were, while you were...
I've got 60 hours from University of Houston. Yeah, 60.
That's a lot of school.
Coach, neither JD or I would be sitting in a classroom that long.
I got the certificate.
Oh, I know you do. That's a lot of hours.
Oh man, 241. If I'd have targeted a doctorate, I had plenty to get a doctorate, but I never wanted a doctorate. I wasn't in it for that. I was in it to make sure I always could make a living. And I guess I've done it.
Did you ever turn that off for a minute?
All right.
Are you done?